camera has seen how high we could throw something, and it got stuck on the roof.
Of this house?
Yes.
Can you do that away from the house?
I was.
Okay.
I threw it and
What
it
was
accidentally
it?
went. It was a toy dinosaur, and I threw it and it accidentally went this way and it landed on the roof.
Okay, so this could be the beginning of our parenting video, actually. Okay, we'll try to get further away from the house. Okay, we've had, let's just jump right in. We've had so many interesting things on our roof. This video, we'll do the intro in a minute. It's gonna be all about parenting and behavior and such. We've had so many interesting things on our roof. And I had a man come out to clean our roof anyway because we were growing some things. And he was throwing down
this is a thing.
like Barbie kitchen tools and shoes. And I mean, after we had it cleaned, I went outside and there was like half a tuna fish sandwich like stuck to the siding and it was a mess. And they were just like joyfully throwing things, having fun, throwing tuna fish sandwiches around. Anyway, been working on not getting stuff on the roof.
Yeah, we had a child throwing rocks again.
Oh, yes.
On the roof. We had a broken window from.
Okay.
You know, they're trying to see how far up on the roof they can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's innocent enough. Yeah, it's life. So, this is Tricia Boyer. I'm Jamerrill Stewart. Welcome to my channel. Tricia and I have been filming a bazillion videos. You all know and love us by now, right? Yes. We've been talking about Tricia's new book, The Grumble-Free Year, but we've been hitting so many homeschooling, parenting, marriage, motherhood questions.
Yes.
This video is all the questions we have received about parenting and behavior. So get ready. This is gonna.
You don't have perfect kids?
I don't have perfect kids.
No, just kidding.
Tricia doesn't have perfect kids. I don't show everything on YouTube, and I don't talk about everything on YouTube because it's private.
And there's some things like we don't want our kids to have this for the rest of our life.
Right, right. So. Exactly, yeah. So we obviously are delicate in that. But we can do general parenting and behavior. No names will be used. I will not tell you who threw the tuna fish sandwich on the house. One of Jamerrill's invisible kids.
Yes.
That's it. My invisible children did that. My other children did not. So, jumping right in. Okay, one of the questions was about 3-year-old behavior. Do you remember specifics from that at all?
I think it was whining. She was talking about whining. Okay.
3,
yeah. So 3 years old, they know a lot more. They cannot always do what they want to do.
Yes.
They want to communicate. They can't always, so we kind of get whining. They want to climb. They want to follow the big kids. They want
jump off the couch.
Do all the things. And sometimes
that.
physically they're not able.
Right.
So a lot of the whining, the complaining is because their mind has grown. They can see all the things. And so redirection is a really good thing.
Now she's looking at me because she's heard lots of redirection where I'll have a kid come in with XYZ situation and I just redirect that back. And I think that actually sounds funny. It comes from my years as working as a psychiatric nurse and redirecting patients.
Yeah. No,
so,
it is. It's really good. You get them. Oh, did you see the ladybug on the windowsill? All of a sudden,
let's look at this instead.
They get up and they're looking at that. And so a lot of that, I mean, I think instead of always jumping to you need to stand in the corner or whatever discipline thing is, they just need to be redirected.
I don't know if you can redirect too much, but I do lots of
redirection. And then also, one thing is, we'll say, can you tell me about that? Like, I understand you need something. Either tell me about it, or I see you need help. If you ask, I will help you. So maybe they are having trouble putting on their shoes, so they're whining about it. If you ask me, I'll help you. Or sometimes you just say, I see you need help. So you're getting them that you're understanding what they're needing. They just need to change their communication style a little bit better.
Yes. And then going back through and modeling in different situations, like, well, no, this is how we ask, or remember to say our thank you, or
and we'll say, why don't you go out and try that again?
Yes.
So give them a second chance, do over, try that again. They come in and they ask the right way.
Yes.
And it's just a lot of training, and they don't know. Like, we know they're not supposed to whine and that they should say please and thank you,
but they are 3.
Yeah, they are 3.
It does happen. So special needs kids. Do you have any special needs experience, Tricia?
Well, our special needs is, ADHD, dyslexia. We do have one of our children has an autoimmune disease, which is just medical needs, so it's not special needs. What I didn't realize is that when you have special needs children, it takes a lot of advocacy. You are looking for the right doctor, the right therapist, and because my first 3 didn't have special needs, we just went on with our homeschool day. So, you know, sometimes our schedule has been in the past where we have a trauma therapy appointment at 8 in the morning. So I have to have a babysitter come in to read or do something with other kids so I could take this child to this therapy appointment. Or we have doctor's appointment with our daughter that has an autoimmune disease. So know that, you know, you could still homeschool, you can still do everything in parenting that you need to do, but it is going to be different. But you are there for your child, and you're going to do your best, and you're going to get all the right resources and tools. So it's just an extra layer. And now I'm like applauding special needs parents, because it is a lot more work, a lot more reading research books and finding out the right tools and stuff. So it's just more. But I've also seen, like, my kids have made huge progress in so many, in their anger issues and their learning disabilities, and my daughter's health. For a while she was very sick when she was in foster care, and now she's pretty much can function and do everything because we figured out things to help her. So just know that you are your child's person that's going to do all these things, and it is extra work. So also make sure you have time for yourself and have time to, you know, try to get a support group, which I know it is so hard, but you need that extra because you are doing extra work.
So one of our questions is, how as a parent can you stay calm? And then also we were talking about dealing with tantrums. So teach us about that, Tricia.
So for staying calm now, again, with my older 3, I didn't really think I was an angry mom or didn't yell or raise my voice a lot, because I mean, there was some just normal kid stuff, but I'm like, don't do that. You know, we're able to stay calm.
Right.
It was different when we adopted kids from foster care. There was a lot of anger, and there was the younger kids, like, tantrums and throwing things and saying things, but then teenagers, they're like shooting bullets with their words, and they're you know, just hurling words at you and in your face and disrespecting you. And I just found myself getting angry, like, you get back here, you can't talk to me that way. And you know, you think like, I'm here to help, and I'm not a help if I'm angry. And so I ended up actually talking to one of my kids' therapists, and I'm like, I never used to be angry, and I find myself raising my voice more and really struggling to stay calm. And she's all, well, first of all, you need to realize that when you're in a situation like that, your body will react. When you have a child in your face screaming,
fight or flight,
on the the fight or flight, your body is going to react. So your heart will start racing. You often, your fist will clench up. You feel your jaw tighten. Your body will react because it's trying to protect you. And so just know, like, you can tell yourself, it's okay. I'm not in a dangerous situation. Yeah, sure. And you know, and there's been times my daughter has been raging, and I'll go and sit on her sister's bed, and I'm just waiting for her so we can calm down. And she knows that I'm there when she's ready to talk, and I'm not listening to the words she's hurling at me, because when they're in anger, it's not like, those are just, she's trying to get me mad. And so then I could control myself. And so sometimes I'll pick up a book and like start reading it or something. When they're angry or when their emotions are up, me trying to lecture or trying to teach the right thing will not work. So like, if this is their brain and the anger is there, this is the thinking part, they cannot think. Like I always say, when your emotional brain is turned on, your thinking brain is turned off. So if you're sitting there trying to tell them the right thing to do in that moment when they're emotional, it is not going to go through. So sometimes you need to stay there. I mean, for some kids, I knew I just needed to stay there. Some kids, I just needed to give them space to kind of figure out with their kids. And then later, you could talk about it. Sometimes later that day, sometimes the next day, like, so what really was going on yesterday when you were so angry?
Sometimes you have to come back.
Yeah, but trying to talk about them in the moment doesn't work. So just reminding myself to stay calm, because if I'm yelling or if I'm escalated, first of all, it's not a good example. Second of all, it doesn't help things. And another therapist, a different time, told me, because one of my children would always do this, like she would say stuff, and I'm like, it's like she's trying to get me mad. When I'm trying to discipline her or talk to her about something, she'll turn around and do something to get me angry, say something about me or to me. And she said, of course, because when you get angry, suddenly it's not about her problem. So all of a sudden, you're yelling at me, you're a mean mom, because now it's centered on our anger or our emotions. We're not dealing with she stole her sister's dollar or whatever.
Right, right.
It gets the attention off of that because now we're dealing with you. And then of course I would go back and I would apologize for my anger, and then kind of the thing she did kind of gets forgotten. So she's like, of course she wants to redirect it to you. So she's trying to get you mad so it gets the attention off of her. And she could be a victim. And so she's like, first of all, if you can stay calm, then you could deal with the real situation.
Right.
And also, we don't want our children to feel like they're victims, because she says then that's going to be her comfort zone. Through her life, she's going to find people to be a victim to. I'm like, okay, we've known people like that they choose bad relationships, they choose bad friendships, and then they're always thinking of telling you their sob story. We don't want that. And so all of this is wrapped around us staying calm. So now that we know the need, just again reminding myself, I need to stay calm, or I'm safe. My body's safe. If I stay calm, I win. So it's me about, I could deal with her situation or his situation. I win, and then sending up a prayer. Or if I need to walk away, if you're following a child angry, nothing's going to come good out of that. Turn and walk away. Give it space. Know that you can come back to it later. You can talk about it later. Sometimes I'll talk to my husband and we could all sit down and talk through the situation at a later time when there's not emotions involved, and that all helps. But first of all, it has to start with us.
Yes, I know. Well, there have definitely been times where we've had a situation and then circled back later to deal with it, to dive in and really talk about.
And there's been times where I've texted a friend and like, can you just pray for me right now? Like, I'm dealing with this child. And one time I sat in the middle, there's two girls that were both mad at me. I sat in the middle of the room and just sat there and just prayed. I wasn't praying out loud, I was just praying. And it was like almost you could see the volume going down. It was like God was working in that moment. Yes.
That's why I go around saying, Jesus helps me, Jesus helps me.
Yeah.
Or help me, Jesus. So
okay, so dealing with tantrums.
Okay.
So one thing with tantrums or with any emotion, so we're talking about, of course, we need to stay calm and then we can deal with the situation later. But one thing with, if you have a child that struggles with tantrums or struggles with anger,
and now I've got to correct the child. Hey, Daniel, honey, Daniel. Take that outside, sweetie, to the porch, because right now it's too loud. Or do something different. Okay. We'll see how that goes.
So when you're dealing with a child that is maybe having tantrums or their anger, they're not able to control it, again, it goes back to teaching them the right thing to do and teaching them how to calm down. Like kids they don't come out of the womb knowing how to calm down.
Right.
And so one thing that we do is we create calm bags, and this is something a therapist showed us.
Okay.
And so in a calm bag are things that will help them calm down. And you teach this in a non-confrontational moment.
All of this in the Calming Angry Kids.
It is all in the Calming Angry Kids.
Tricia has a book, not the Grumble Free Year. If I haven't mentioned it in this video, she has 76 books. So she has a book called
Calming Angry Kids.
Okay.
And so it's a calm down bag. And so we get the large Ziploc bags, so you can use a paper bag. We'll put Play-Doh in there. If it's an older kid that can read, we'll put scripture verses, bubbles. So bubbles are really good because they're breathing. They breathe in, blow, and they're blowing bubbles. Sometimes just those little sand timers that they could look at. One of my daughters, we made a jar, like it was those peanut jars, and we put water and glitter, and so she could swirl it and look at it, and it's just something to focus on. So they know when they start getting upset, they can go get their bag and they could do something. Gum, some of the motion of the chewing helps them to calm down.
Does each child have a calm bag?
They have the calm bag. Okay. And so they teach it, and so now they don't have the same level of tantrums.
Sure.
So I'm sure their calm bag, we've lost pieces and all that kind of stuff.
But several years ago
they had, and even last year, Nathan and I were taking the kids to Orlando on a trip. I found some $69 round trip plane tickets. So I'm like, let's go do this.
Wow. Yes. Awesome.
And so before we went, I'm like, okay, we're all going to be on vacation. We're going to be flying. We're going to be in a condo together. Daddy's not going to be there, which he's a big calming force. We're going to be driving around in busy Orlando in a van all together. So there's probably going to be times when your siblings are going to stress you out. You're going to be feeling angry or anxious. Anything new kind of makes them anxious too. So all the kids from 9 to 16, we made calm down bags. And so I laid all it again. I bought all new stuff because we lost the fresh new stuff. And we put the Play-Doh and we did stress balls. And we said, okay, these are your bags. We took them on our carry-on when we left for the day, for wherever we were going to the day. We made sure, and
Such
if
a
you
good
feel
mama.
anxious,
Yes.
and so you're training them ahead of time to know what to do.
Wonderful.
And sure enough, I'd be driving, I'd
And
see,
you talk through that.
and you talk
Yes.
through it, how to use the different pieces. And so we'd be driving, I'd see a teen back there squeezing the stress ball or whatever.
Yes.
So it just gives them ways to know how to act when they feel like reacting.
Wonderful. Okay, we could probably roll into tips for sibling relationships. So we apologize a lot, and we start over a lot, and we come back and we say things how they should have been said.
Right.
We also, an example I use to my invisible children is I will say things like, if that was a stranger on the street, you would have spoken to that stranger nicer than you just spoke to your invisible sister.
Yeah.
So try again and say it like how you would say to someone you don't know, because we all act our best for when we don't know. So let's treat each other as well as we would treat a person we just met. So I say that a lot.
Yeah. And I think and some kids will get along great, and some kids will kind of just go against each other. And so if we're doing something fun that I know the kids will enjoy, I'll try to pair up the kids that I know don't have the best relationship to do it together.
That's good.
Because then they're building that bond, they're doing fun stuff. And so, or I'll let them, you guys pick out a fun movie we're going to go to together, and then it just builds the bond with each other. But some personalities do clash more than other personalities, and different seasons they'll go through where they might be close and then they might come apart, and it's just growing pains. And that's good to know now that I have adult children.
Yes,
they come back
come
around.
back. And I have seen that in some different relationships where now it's like, oh, they're like best friends now. This is beautiful. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also beautiful to watch their relationships. And now that I have one adult child, I can see like his relationship with his 16-year-old brother. You just see where like they really will be friends for life.
Yeah.
You know, and they still need each other.
Yeah.
And so, and you have more adults out there.
Yeah, and it is neat to see that they all Skype each other and do stuff when we're when my daughter's here visiting. Like the adult kids will go out to dinner together and spend time together. It's funny because I will see sometimes when they've had conflict as adults, and we'll like, well, that wasn't very nice when you spoke to me, but then they come back around like within 3 minutes they're all back again. I'm like, okay, like you're gonna have this. You know, it's like any other relationship where you have, like, some days you're doing great, some days are harder. But what I love is just the more you spend time together and building great memories, they have that.
I was going to say something I think of is whenever, if there's been a lot of grumbling, fault finding, complaining, whatever, and I think we've touched on this a little bit, but the family gameplay. I mean, to do Ticket to Ride, to get out Monopoly. If you want to work on relationships and how you act and play a long board game together, but it really is a wonderful connected time.
Yeah, and when we adopted from foster care, we adopted different sibling groups. And so that was challenging because you're meshing different sibling groups
and different traumas
and different traumas. And so sometimes they trigger different things.
Yes.
But when we brought like the older girls, they were like, we're the siblings, and I'm only going to buy Christmas presents for my siblings. I'm like, well, we're all siblings.
Yeah.
Don't stress. I mean, it took time, but now they totally see each other, like all of them as siblings.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something like I needed to stress about or worry about. As we build the memories and as we spend time together, those bonds will grow. We can't expect them to know each other 2 weeks and then feel like they're as close to that
You're my
sibling
little brother.
as they did to the one that they've known their whole lives. So just know that over time, if we're doing the right things over time, it will make a difference in the long run.
I know you wrote Walk It Out. Excuse us when we talk about Tricia's books here, folks. Have you written any other books on foster care and adoption?
I haven't
written.
Yeah.
That book talks a lot.
Walk It Out talks about like our call into foster care and adoption.
Okay.
Like I haven't done I've done blogs on different things for foster care and adoption. I haven't done a whole book yet.
So Walk It Out though is a good one.
Yeah.
That's like, I know that one has it. I have that one back back on my shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the questions that we got, which was fun, and I wrote it sideways, so I'm going to look
So
sideways.
that's why we're looking like this.
So what if you're done having kids? This is what one mama asked us. And then later you decide you're not. You then change your mind.
Okay, so we
what does
kind
that
of
look
had
like?
that. We kind of had that. So I had my third child when I was 22 because I was a teen mom. Then I met and married John, and we had 2 kids right away. So I was only 22, completely overwhelmed. I'm like, we're done having kids. And so we medically made it possible for that. Never make that decision when you're 22 and overwhelmed.
It's hard.
Yeah. And then John was 25. So I just think we were really young. Later, that you get to a new stage. The kids get older. It gets easier. We're like, wow, well, we want new kids. Well, then John and I talked to adoption for many years. I was more interested than he was. Finally, he's like, yes, let's do this. So then we looked into adoption, first international adoption, and then we did private adoption, and then foster care. But whether you're medically able or not, I think, the seasons of life change. So don't always rule it out that you're done having kids.
Another question that we got that I think pairs with this question is, does life look like what we thought it would look like pre-kids? Okay, so for me, before kids, I thought, because I was an only child, I thought I would have one child, and then I wasn't quite sure when I was going to have time for the second one. So this is like the 18, 19, 20-year-old mama thought, where you had 3 kids at 22.
Right.
At 22, I had one child, and I thought, well, now he's going to go to school in a few years, and I'm going back to work. When do I have this second one? And so life changes.
Yeah.
Again, different seasons. So then we added in the second one, and by that time we did feel the call to homeschool. And then I knew at the second one, I was like, well, he's so great. Now I got 2 great ones. Well, let's have... A few years later, it's like, well, let's have another great one. And then when I got to, so that was Naomi, so we had 2 boys and a girl, and I didn't feel done. I mean, that's for me when, like, I was going through the stage of going into Walmart with 3 kids and processing other people's reactions. So I had a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a newborn, and I was having the time of my life, but the woman I don't know at Walmart was saying, oh my goodness, you have your hands full, how do you do it? And I'm thinking, and I remember one time saying, probably didn't sound the best tone, but well, I'm not the only woman in the world with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And so in my heart, I still wanted more. And I thought, well, we'll definitely have one more. So we had Gabriel, our number 4. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably know my story on how we ended up going more the large family side of things. Is I was pregnant with him. We actually did have a brief season of doing foster care. We were licensed to adopt, and the Lord just closed those doors for us as we got involved. And so when I had Gabriel, the Lord used our time, though, researching foster care, going through our training, having some foster children in our home. That time really opened our hearts to having a large family. I think I was 29 at the time. And so I went mentally to the place of, I have 4 children. 4 children ages 9 and under, but 3 kids and a baby. I have 4 today, but tomorrow I could have 8. And you're ready to when you open your home like that. So when the Lord just redirected us that was not our foster care season, it was like, oh, well, I want to have all these kids. What if we just had all these kids? What if we just keep on having kids? So I had 4 in my 20s. I had 4 in my 30s. I'm 40. Benjamin's 2.
We'll see.
We're waiting, and now they're gonna want to know this, but you all probably know this. I just stopped breastfeeding officially in May, and so I'm finally back to where things might be normal. So we'll see. Keep watching these videos. Stay tuned. But I will say, the Lord has been really stirring that adoption dream in my heart, and for so long, and I know you can testify to this too, for so long it was just like on the shelf, like, well, we thought we were going to do it in our late 20s, early 30s, 10 years later, and I'm thinking, oh, that dream's up there, maybe we can take that down. So I know you all have been watching Angie on This Gathered Nest, just adopted another domestic adoption, like right from the brand new. I have a mama at my church who, she's a single mom, and she just adopted like straight from the hospital. And I know I'm saying this with joy and excitement. I do understand that there's pain and loss all the way through. And I think, Angie, if you haven't watched this Gathered Nest, you should go over there.
I need to go.
She shares, I think she buys this triangle necklace to give to the birth mama. As long as the birth mama wants that interaction, and it represents her and the birth mama and the baby.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just beautiful, poetic.
Yeah.
So I will say that my heart is stirred. And I have another friend who's adopted from Ethiopia, and another friend who's on the list and gonna adopt from Haiti. So we just have a lot of adoptions. And then I have Tricia. Then I have Daniel. Thank you. Put those. Good. Thank you. A lot of adoption things stirring. So I do believe that will be in our future, and the Lord's preparing us for it now.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, if you feel called to adopt internationally, yes. If you
Yes.
feel called newborn, yes. If you feel
Yes.
called foster care, yes.
Yes.
Like, there should not be like, oh, you should do it this way, or you should do it that way.
Exactly.
Also,
Anyway, you're...
yeah, also,
Yeah.
it does not cost to adopt from foster care.
Right.
Which is something we didn't know. And a lot of kids are already available for adoption, which we
Already.
didn't know too. So
Yes.
sometimes you think like, oh, I'll have them and then they'll be taken away. There's kids out there that their parents' rights have already been terminated. I know I'm in Arkansas, there's like 600 kids just waiting to be
600
adopted.
kids in Arkansas. So
We
heck,
took
yeah.
6 out of the 600, like,
Right.
you know, we're pretty full now.
Yeah.
But there's often a lot of states have heart galleries where you can go look at photos and just let them know, you know, kind of what you're able to handle, because there's special needs and different things.
So that goes along. So our one Jamerrill's rabbit trail, but the one question was, does life look like what we thought it would look like pre-kids? I think it's so much better. I mean, I couldn't imagine all of
Yeah,
this.
I couldn't imagine.
And,
yeah.
and at 19, 20, I mean, I couldn't. And at 22, you were overwhelmed.
Like, I'm
you know,
done.
and I was like, how do
Yeah.
I have a second one? Yeah.
And adoption wasn't even in my thought when I was 22. So
Exactly.
as we grow, things change. God speaks to our heart.
Right.
When I'm reading over and over, pure religion is this, to care for the orphans and the widows. It's like, okay, like this is something God is telling us.
That's what exactly. This one real quick on the if you're done having kids and you change your mind, just that. Yeah, it's okay to change your mind.
It's okay to change
And
your mind.
seasons change. Again, early on I thought 1, maybe 2. Now I'm like, what? You know, let's get to 12 or whatever, or no number. Yeah.
Another question I get is, how did your other kids handle you adopting kids? I get that question a lot. And I think our kids were older, so they all were almost grown. Nathan was 16 when we adopted our baby. So it's, and they love the relationships, but like it's no competition because they were almost grown. It has been challenging when we're bringing in different sibling groups, and there has been times when they're like, why did you bring her here? She's mean to me. There are those struggles, but with God and with relationship building and with just, you get past those things. So just know that there are those questions and there are those struggles. Now our kids, they all do really feel bonded and connected. And it's been, 2016 was our last adoption. So it's been 3 years. It's taken a while, 3.5 years. So it's taken a while, but over time, when you're seeking God, seeking relationships with each other, it does work out.
So what is one book besides the Bible, like maybe our favorite book? This is hard. Can a novelist give us your favorite book?
Favorite book that I love to read?
Well, and then
know.
we're in a library, and we have a disease. You know, I buy 50 books at a time.
Yeah.
So
I love The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom.
oh yes,
Such a good book.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm thinking In God's Underground by Richard Wombrand.
No, I have not read
Oh
that.
my goodness, Tricia. So, yeah, we've got The Hiding Place over there, and Naomi and I were talking the other day. We need to read through The Hiding Place. But yeah, Richard Wombrand, he started The Voice of the Martyrs.
Oh, okay.
And so you will know everything he is talking about. But he was a pastor in communist prisons. He testified before Congress over just the tortures that he went through. Trish will probably write another Richard Wombrand. But anyway, it's fantastic. And like when they were in prison, the similar to Corrie ten Boom type experiences, but the Lord would like show up there, and the stones on the wall would turn to like diamonds, and like, and they were living in total filth, but God would show up and beat them there. It's just, it's a fantastic book.
Yeah, and I think both of us picked books that people go through the hardest things imaginable, and God's still there.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that is just encouraging.
There you go, moms. You can be in a prison and the walls will turn to diamonds. That means you can get up and get this day going.
Yeah.
Okay, and then patience. And I wrote the word patience, question mark, exclamation point.
Like, how do
So
we
I
have
get that
patience?
so much. So somehow early on in my motherhood, homeschooling year journey, I knew, and probably just from my own childhood as well, I know how fleeting things are and how it's important to take the time that we have and invest it into our children. So I think that has helped me some. Not that I have perfect patience, not that I still have perfect patience, but I really try to, like, my heart is every day to look at this day, how can I make this the very best day for my children and my family? And also just eating that this is the day the Lord has made, we will rejoice and be glad in it, again and again, and the paint's peeling off the house, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad. Just like living that and walking that out. The Lord's just really done a work in my heart on perspective on that. So when I am not feeling patient, usually I am tired, or I've had coffee and not eaten. I haven't done that for a long time, but I wrote about this and shared, even on the Better Mom, I wrote an article about throwing my coffee pot away. Just like getting up, having coffee, going full steam ahead, and then, like, it is a drug. You are loaded up. I was loaded up on caffeine. I was trying to get children out the door to church, and so it just resulted in me just doing a whole lot of hollering. Yeah. And so I try to look at, well, why am I not patient? Well, if I slept 4 hours, you know, if I've had coffee and not eaten, if I've spiked my blood sugar and crashed it and need a cheese stick, you know, a lot of things for me personally, it's something I have done with my self-care that has gotten out of whack. And then I'm a grumpy mess. Yeah, so
that's so good. And it reminds me, because I was thinking about this too. So my grandma lives with us, who's 90, and all these kids are running around. She's lived with us for 20 years, so she's been there through all the stages. She'll say, these are the best years of your life. And I'm like, get over here when you get your shoes on. She'll just like, these are the best days. I'm like, what do you mean these are the best days?
Grandma has perspective.
Like the house is the best, but she has perspective. And after a while, I'm like, okay, I can see, like, all my kids are home. Like, you know, now that I have a daughter living in Europe that I only get to see once a year, I mean, it does help that we have all our kids here. We are able to play a game, go on a walk, enjoy this time together, sit around the table. So realizing that the to-do list does not need to rule us. And for years, so right when I was having 3 little kids, I went to my first writers conference and started writing. And if we have something like that, which we, like, it's enjoyable, it's work, but it's enjoyable, we get satisfaction. It's like, oh, I just want to rush through this so I can get over and write, because I'm ministering to the world, or doing, which all that's true. Like, it is helping people, but for years I had to pray to bring my heart home. Like, there'll be time later to work on more books or to do this other thing. And
somehow you've written 76.
Yeah, because these little snippets of time.
Little snippets of time, yeah. And I will, that reminds me too. So many times I pray for the Lord to give me a heart for my children and give me a heart for my family. And so, and I do a lot of repetition in my head. So I'll just say, you know, thank you, Jesus, for my children. Thank you, Jesus. It's just like I get it running in my head. And if and we can be having a great day, but I still need to remember that. And I'll say, thank you, Jesus, for my husband. Thank you, Jesus, for our home. I mean, I don't have a living room, but I'm still content, you know? And so, yeah, really, because, I mean, just business-wise, I could work all day, every day.
Yeah.
It could never
have anybody. It's just us talking. We're like, oh, we could do this and this and this.
Yes, exactly.
You can do this and I can do this.
And then it's like, well, really, Tricia, you got an hour and a half. You know, and really, Jamerrill, you have an hour and a half, or maybe nothing for 2 days. I mean, but you're living life in the meantime. Right. So,
and the cool thing is that now that I have adult kids, it is important for us to do those things that are, because it's showing them God is asking us to serve people, to write books, to do these things. So we might have to sacrifice time, get up early, work in the afternoon, or whatever that is. Our kids need to see that we can follow God's directives for our lives, His dreams for us, because we want them to do it. Right. So we were like, do what God has called you to do. You know,
and
follow
then
your
you have a daughter moved to Czech Republic.
I know. They're like, wait.
Follow God.
So it is important for us to model that for our kids. Right. But then I think our kids benefit. I mean, they've gone to homeschooling conferences. They benefit from us doing those things. Right. So it's a balance. But first, we need to make sure that they know that they're loved. We give them the time. We're pouring into them first, and then we're working and doing.
And
all those
I had a
things.
time just recently here where like I didn't have videos out. I felt like for a few weeks, I think I got like 1 or 2 out, and we just had a lot of just really good family things going on, and I couldn't find my footing work-wise. And really, I don't care. So if I lose my footing with my business end, that can drown. It can drown for a few days or a few weeks. And as long as my family life is rolling. And I know I'd rather my business be drowning for a little bit and know that I can pick away and kind of get that, I can get the videos back out and I can get the emails sent out and I can do the sponsored stuff. But in the meanwhile, we're having our walks, we're reading our stories, the house is cleaned up, like life is rolling. So if you have times where there are no videos or there's less videos, it just may mean that for right now, I can't get to it, and that's okay, but I'll be back.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, so we have a few kind of hodgepodge, some a work at home mom question and a question about coffee and organization and marriage. So we were joking we were going to put marriage at the end. Ha. So, well, we can talk about marriage now. So see, John and Travis, we're not putting it at the end. So people will ask me, because I don't remember what their specific question was. So I'm just going to talk about date nights real quick.
Yeah, just how to nurture your marriage.
Yes. So
how to nurture your marriage when you have a busy life.
Yes. So we go to the chiropractor every other week. That's a date, and so we'll go out and we'll have breakfast. And we'll go to the chiropractor, and sometimes we'll go to Lowe's. I mean, we have our little like errand dates. Sometimes we'll go to dinner and the movies. I'm trying to think, what else do we do? Well, Travis will work in the garage and I'll take a chair out there and I'll sit and talk to him. And Travis is really good about listening to all my stories. I talk a lot. I have a lot of stories. So he'll sit and he'll say, okay, tell me your stories. And then it's just, hold on tight, Travis. Stories are coming. And if I don't have any stories, he's like, well, why don't you have stories? Like what?
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm expecting stories here. And I know you and John, did you go on a cruise recently?
Yes. So,
okay. How did you
we do
that?
date night. So we try every week. Sometimes we miss a week, but we try to do a date night, go out to dinner, do a movie.
Talk about the kids whole time.
No, we try not to talk about the kids.
That's good. Yeah.
And then also he works in computer stuff, so I'll just listen to him talk about computers. I often don't know what he's talking about, but I listen. I'm there and I'm paying attention.
John's stories.
And he knows what's going on with my writing and should I do this? And he hears all the stories too. But I think I'm trying to remember how many years ago on our 19th anniversary we decided to go on a cruise, and so we just had the 3 kids.
Oh, I see. Don't let her in the house though. Chickens. Yes, I see. She might poop on your sweatshirt. Got a chicken on his shoulder. Okay. Yes.
So we went on a cruise and we're like, hey, we kind of like this. So we for a lot of years we didn't when we were adopting all the kids. But a couple of years ago, 2 of our older boys came and said, we'll watch the kids. You go on a cruise. And so now we try to do like once a year.
Adult kids.
Yeah, adult kids are great. Once a year to go away and do something. So a cruise, a little mini vacation, and just have that time together where we just are together. We usually do cruises because we get like all the food's included.
Yeah,
I don't have to
just get on the boat.
Get on the boat. We go. So then we do. So one year I planned the excursion. So we did like snorkeling. The next year I'm like, you pick what you want. We did extreme zip lining.
Oh,
we did
John has a
motorbike riding.
Oh wow!
And like all these extreme stuff. I'm like, all right, this is
I'm picking now.
No, so yeah, we take turns, but we do like this. So we do need that time.
So you've made it
together.
30 years. You've had years where all you might get is a ride to the chiropractor. I mean, something. Yeah, but now you're able.
Now we're able to, and right now our 30th anniversary isn't coming up in April. So I'm at the hotel. I'm like, what are we gonna do for our anniversary? Like trying to figure out inexpensive. And I'm talking like a cruise. Like we tried cheap cruise. We're not doing extravagant stuff, but you can do it, and it is important to have that time.
That's wonderful. Travis and I were going to take a road trip to Texas to look at houses. I have a video all about that. Until I learned they were all in Tornado Alley. So we had this wonderful.
Love the South. We still need to come to the South.
I still. We had this great trip planned, and then I thought, okay, well, since we're not doing that, we need to plan another trip. And we got planning it, and then we just got stuck, and then the summer got busy, and life happened, and we haven't done it. But Travis, we should go on a trip.
And it's important to like to dream about stuff. So,
Right.
you know, John will show me campers that we're going to buy 10 years from now when the kids are grown. You know, just
You
stuff like
got all
that.
those adult kids you got to go visit.
Yeah, exactly. Just like dreaming of different things you can do or places. And it's not like I'm always like, well, we can't afford that or how can we do that?
Right.
Just dream.
You can dream.
Just dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times the Lord brings those things to pass.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, anything else?
Organization and
And everything. Let's give them a couple of like our best work at home mom tips.
Yeah.
Although we've kind of, okay, so then we'll end this on, because Tricia and I are both work at home moms, even though I feel like we don't work that much. I mean, we work. I have had extreme work times.
Right.
And I've shared about this in videos. When I built the free homeschool deals site and it made money come out of the internet, I was doing like 60-hour weeks. So, and I had a year and a half of like what not to do.
yeah.
So I have been on the, that's where video is a gift to me, on the opposite end of the spectrum with that and with time-wise. So,
And there's definitely times when I have a book deadline
yeah,
and
there's
stuff's going on.
but
like,
it's a short season.
yeah, for
you don't
2
live
weeks
there.
I'm like, you guys are eating pizza and you
Yeah,
know,
figure it out.
figure it out.
Yeah, but that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you work through that time. But I know something for me that I've learned over the years is as things build up too heavy on me and I'm just not getting to those things, but they still need done, that's a signal to me I need to hire it out. So I have like, I feel like a whole posse of people who work for me now all these years later, because there's only like, I'm the only one who can do my videos and Tricia
Right.
can be in them with me. So I can make these videos and I can share pictures on my Instagram and answer your comments and answer your comments on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And I can do like send out my emails, and all of that right there is a whole lot. And also dream up like products and other things that I want to do. But beyond that, I think a chicken might have just
I
run
think a
to the
chicken
door.
just
It's trying to escape. But beyond that, and even that, I have people working on different moving parts. So that's one of my best mom tips is, as you can't, I know you can't when you're just starting out, but once you get that room, like I could make a lot more, but the help being with my children is more valuable.
Right.
So I will say to my children, no, so-and-so is working for me right now, so I can be here with you. Like I might get a text from someone who helps me with something. I'm like, I need to answer this text real quick because I can sit here and read to you for the next 3 hours, but they are working. They're, you know, during that time. So there's one of mine.
Yeah, and I think that is so important. And even like if I was making a little money, if I could redirect it to someone that can do stuff.
Yes.
And you're helping another mom too, usually
Right.
stay-at-home mom. But the stuff like,
Let me help this chicken.
yeah, poor little chicken.
Okay, chicken is saved. Chicken is redirected.
Yeah. So I do have people that help me too, which is
Okay,
awesome.
yes,
Like I will write the blog and send it out, and someone else does all the pretty stuff to put it up there and make it work. But also realizing that just little bits of time here and there, it adds up, and then projects get done.
I'm learning this one.
Yeah, so projects get done. So if I'm writing a book, if I'm spending an hour of quiet, focused time in the morning, in the end of a month, there's like a lot of stuff there to work on. And also, it doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so many
just get
times
it out.
just get it done, get it going. You could edit and perfect it or whatever later. And then always be looking for those opportunities to kind of bring your kids in. Sometimes I'll explain like what I'm doing and can you help me with this, and they've helped me package books before and different things. So they are all part, they feel like this is all mom, like the thing that mom's doing, but it's all our family together.
Right.
So that's really good. And then, but also when I have a day when, even when the to-do list is long and I just need a nap, it's okay. Like we need to listen to our bodies too, and not keep pushing forward.
So that is Tricia and Jamerrill's parenting thoughts, behavior thoughts, chicken redirecting thoughts, some work at home mom thoughts in there. We have had a lot of fun doing all of these videos. Please, down in the comments below, let's chat about everything we just talked about. Ask us any more questions, because Tricia and I would like to plan another video retreat excursion, or maybe we could go on a cruise.
I'm liking
This is Tricia and I. Yes. So please, let's give us some more things to talk about. That would be fantastic. And thank you for showing up and watching our video. Oh, so go to thegrumblepheeyear.com for this book and for the bonuses and for the information. And a whole bunch of other links down in the description below. Bye-bye.
Bye.